Everyone is talking about AI tools, AI side hustles, businesses, automation, but most people are only seeing the surface. Behind the scenes, artificial intelligence is evolving much faster than most people realize, and the biggest shifts are happening inside research labs, data centers, and tech companies. Understanding these changes isn't just interesting, it's important, because every time a new technology evolves this quickly, new opportunities appear for the people who understand it early. So today we're going to explore 10 things about AI in 2026 that most people aren't talking about. Some of them are surprising, some are strange, and some could completely change how we think about technology. Let's start with something that already affects millions of developers around the world. Number 10, AI is quietly writing a huge amount of software for decades. Software development required teams of engineers writing thousands of lines of code, but artificial intelligence is changing that process. Inside some of the largest technology companies, AI tools are already generating significant portions of production code. These tools don't just autocomplete small pieces of syntax. They can generate entire functions, solve bugs, and even suggest architecture changes. Developers review the output, adjust it, and integrate it into real systems. What used to take hours can sometimes be done in minutes. But the interesting part isn't just productivity. It's accessibility. Because the same technology that helps large companies build software faster is also becoming available to individuals, which means people without deep programming knowledge can now build small tools, websites, and digital products using AI assistance. And for many entrepreneurs, that opens the door to completely new kinds of online businesses. But software development isn't the only field where AI is becoming difficult to fully understand. That brings us to something even more unusual. Number 9, researchers are studying an AI like a biological system. Most traditional software is easy to inspect. Engineers can read the code line by line and understand exactly how it works. Modern AI systems are different. Large language models contain billions, sometimes hundreds of billions of parameters. At that scale, the system becomes too complex to fully analyze manually. So researchers are starting to study these models, more like scientists studying a biological organism. They analyze behavior patterns. They observe how the system reacts to different prompts. They track which internal components activate when certain tasks are performed. This field is known as mechanistic interpretability, and it exists because even the engineers who build these systems sometimes struggle to explain exactly how certain outputs are produced. In other words, we built the system, but understanding its internal reasoning is still an ongoing scientific challenge. And when systems become that complex, unexpected behaviors can appear. Number 8, AI models sometimes behave differently than expected. Researchers have discovered something interesting while testing advanced AI systems. In controlled environments, models can behave one way, but when exposed to slightly different prompts or conditions, their responses can change significantly. Some experiments have shown that models can hide certain reasoning steps or simplify explanations, depending on how questions are asked. This doesn't mean AI is intentionally deceptive, but it does show that evaluating AI behavior is more complicated than simply asking a question and reading the answer. Understanding how these systems behave across thousands of possible scenarios is still an active area of research. And as AI systems become more powerful, ensuring reliability becomes increasingly important. Number 7, bigger AI models aren't always better for years. The AI industry followed a simple rule. Make the models bigger, more parameters, more data, more compute, and generally, performance improved. But researchers are starting to discover that scaling alone isn't enough. Very large models can become extremely expensive to run and maintain. They require massive infrastructure and enormous amounts of electricity. Because of this, many companies are now focusing on efficiency rather than size. New approaches involve smaller models optimized for specific tasks. Others combine multiple systems working together instead of relying on a single giant model. This shift could make AI more affordable and accessible to smaller companies and independent developers. Number 6. AI data centers are consuming enormous amounts of energy. Artificial intelligence may feel digital and weightless, but behind every AI model is physical infrastructure. Massive data centers filled with GPUs, cooling systems, networking equipment, and enormous power consumption. As AI adoption grows, the demand for electricity from these facilities is increasing rapidly. Training large models requires vast amounts of computation. Running them at scale requires even more. This is one reason why technology companies are investing heavily in new data centers, renewable energy, and specialized hardware. AI is not just a software revolution. It's also an infrastructure revolution. Number 5, open source AI is growing extremely fast for a while. Many people assumed the most powerful AI models would only come from large companies. But open source communities are moving incredibly fast. Developers around the world collaborate on models that anyone can download, modify, and improve. These open systems often evolve quickly because thousands of contributors experiment with new ideas simultaneously. The result is a rapidly expanding ecosystem of tools, models, and frameworks that are accessible to almost anyone. And when technology becomes open and widely available, innovation tends to accelerate dramatically. Number 4, AI is becoming a massive global business. Artificial intelligence is no longer just an experimental research field. It's becoming one of the largest technology markets in the world. Companies are integrating AI into productivity software, search engines, customer support systems, and enterprise tools. Businesses are using it to automate tasks, analyze data, and improve decision-making. And startups are building entirely new products around AI capabilities. The economic impact of this shift could be enormous. And, historically, when a new technology becomes central to business operations, entire industries emerge around it. Number 3, AI is helping accelerate medical research. One of the most exciting applications of AI is in medicine. Researchers are using machine learning to analyze biological data, simulate molecules, and identify potential drug candidates. In some cases, AI systems can evaluate thousands of possibilities, far faster than traditional methods. This doesn't replace scientists, but it can dramatically speed up early stages of research. As these tools improve, they could help reduce the time required to develop new treatments, and potentially improve how diseases are diagnosed and studied. Number 2, every AI request has a real-world cost. When people interact with AI systems, the process feels instant. Type A, prompt receive an answer. But behind that simple interaction is significant computation. Each request requires GPUs to perform complex calculations. Multiply that by millions of users, and the scale becomes enormous. Understanding the true cost of AI systems in terms of energy, infrastructure, and hardware is an important part of the conversation about how this technology evolves. Number 1, the biggest challenge with AI might be trust. As artificial intelligence becomes more powerful and more integrated into daily life, one question becomes increasingly important. How much should we trust these systems? AI models can generate text, analyze images, and assist with decisions, but they can also make mistakes. They can misinterpret information, and sometimes they produce confident answers that aren't entirely correct. This doesn't mean AI isn't useful, but it means humans will remain an essential part of the process. Reviewing, evaluating, and guiding how these systems are used. Artificial intelligence is advancing incredibly quickly. New tools appear every month. New research is published every week, and new applications emerge across almost every industry. For some people, this change feels overwhelming, but for others, it represents opportunity. Because the people who learn how these technologies work early often become the ones who build the next generation of products, businesses, and ideas around them. So the real question isn't whether AI will change the future. It's how people will choose to use it. And that future is already starting to unfold. If you found this interesting, let me know in the comments which of these surprised you the most. And if you're curious about how people are actually using AI tools to build businesses and generate income online, check out the next video on your screen. Thanks for watching.